Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a GSOR 1008. It's a Tier 8 British premium tank destroyer located on the south spawn of Cliff under the command of Mr. Lan. Well, this tank destroyer has a 105mm gun. It's an autoloader, 4 shots, capable of doing 320 alpha and penetrating 228mm of armor with standard rounds, but Mr. Lan has loaded nothing but premium and he's capable of doing 321mm, so there aren't many battle tanks that he can't penetrate. Maybe a 268 if a 268 managed to get his front towards him, but he's actually landed in a tier 9 game, so he's not likely to see a 268. Okay, 430 penetrates him with the first round, into the engine bay with the second one, into the engine bay with the third one, and there's the kill shot. This is a tank destroyer and a half. It was one of only 4 different schemes that the British were working on in the 1960s. It's a tank destroyer with an oscillating turret, but there were other varieties which actually had anti-tank guided weapons instead of a gun, and some were different shapes as well. The GSOR was, or GSOR, GSOR means General Staff Operational Requirement, is just one of those 4 different types that they put on paper, but they never actually manufactured. Now it does have a rather long reload time. By the book it's 44.05 seconds for 4 rounds. And I think Mr. Lan's managed to knock that down to about 35 seconds. We'll check that later on when he goes into reload. You can see 2 seconds between each shot. And Mr. Lan's developed mousitis because, yes, he's going in, out a lot. Yes, it's a common affliction amongst top players. They play with their mice because they get frustrated when they can't actually do anything. Okay, let's look at the battle as a whole. They're 1 down on the enemy, but the only kill so far is by Mr. Lan. Now, the problem with his tank is that he doesn't have a huge amount of armor. The best armor on his tank is at the front of the turret. It's 152.4mm. At the front of the hull, it's a little less. Look at that Progetto. 3 shots and he's killed him. And I think he'll probably pop the reload rather than wait. Be much better off popping the reload. Some players like to hang on to that last shell, but they might need those shells, especially if the enemy does another attack like that with the Progetto. Oh, well, he's decided to blast it away and put it to good use by making a blind fire on the enemy position on that corner. Now, he is pulling back. There's no Arty, so he doesn't need to worry about that position. I think he's more concerned that he's going to get blind fired from the enemy up on top of the donut. If you notice on the minimap, you can see their Char Future 4 and the T-44 have managed to capture the donut. And so if he stayed where he was likely to get shot at. So he's pulling back to this position. Again, the mousitis is coming into effect, doing that jerky in out movement. We try to discourage players from doing it because it does kind of make it difficult to watch these videos when you move in and out all the time. In fact, that's why Jingles has actually discouraged people from doing it as well, and I'm not surprised. It's not very good. Okay, you can see that the enemy does have the donut because the Char Future Force just got spotted on the donut. Mr. Lan still the only scorer in this game for his team with 2 kills. That rather unfortunate Object 430 who thought that he could get up there, and of course then the Progetto who got hit by 3 in a row and he was out the game. Now, this tank actually came in the loot boxes one Christmas, and yes, I think the in-outs is getting a bit too much now, so I'm going to take control of the camera. Oh, a BC-58 made a big mistake trying to come forward, and he's paid for it. Oh, that was an ammo rack. He blew the ammo rack with the last round, and so it looked like the BC was going to get away with it for a moment and pull back with only a few hit points left, but that's his third kill. But of course he is in reload. 39.91 seconds is the reload time. So he shaved a few seconds off, about 5 in total, or slightly less than 5, about 4. Now the problem with this tank destroyer is the crew slots don't match with other British TDs. So you can't like put your crew in, and another BC has made a big mistake and he's out the game. And that's now 4 kills for Mr. Lan. He has 2/3 of the kills on his team so far. Yes, the crew slots don't match, so you can't kind of put the crew into the GSOR to actually train them and use as a training vehicle, because obviously it's a mismatch. Kind of unfortunate. He's firing off the last 2 rounds because he doesn't want to actually just recycle. I think that's a bit of a mistake when you've got premium rounds, because of course those premium rounds are expensive, and so blasting away those last 2 rounds, there's 2 rounds he might need at the end of the game. You never know. Anyways, his mouse-itis is getting a little strong for me, so I'm going to take control of the camera again. Yes, keep taking the pills. You can see the oscillating turret. He's pointing it at the ground a lot. Ooh, we've got the wreck of a Chieftain P here. Yeah, you see he pulled out the wrong way. He pulled out front first, got tracked, and then got taken out. He should have side-scraped on the corner. Mr. Lan, using the wreck as cover, he fired that 1 round in. Did get spotted, though, so somebody is on that corner. That we do know. Okay, using the wreck for cover again. Pulls back out. That, I think, hit the rock face, actually. And it looked to me like the enemy wasn't actually looking at the time, but that guy is looking. That's a Vipera. And they have very good armor on the front, but not on the lower plate. And the Vipera goes down to RT95 with its 155mm round. He's just across the way there. There he is. Just dirt the guy. Well, Mr. Lan is in a reload cycle, so he's decided to pull back, and unfortunately the Conqueror was getting in the way, but he didn't lose anything by that. This tank destroyer does have very effective penetration with those rounds, and it's got a reasonably good top speed as well. 60 kilometers an hour. That's almost the top speed, you might say, of a light tank, not a tank destroyer. The armor, though, is a bit of a problem. As I said, the best armor on the front of the turret, 152.4, but the other armor around the vehicle is fairly light, and that's why these things are fairly good for Arty to take out, because they're fairly thin and they do allow Arty rounds to pen. Okay, it's working with a Pantera. Still got the mouse-itis. And, ooh, they're both trying to squeeze together. That makes a perfect bombardier shot. But unfortunately, as I said, there's no Arty in this game. Therefore, no chance for an Arty to land a shot that kills 2 with 1 shot. Besides, anyway, I doubt if he will get killed with 1 shot, simply because he's still got 1,200 hit points. And that's quite a nice amount for a tier 8 tank destroyer. Okay, I think he's trying to lend a bit of hand to that AMX M451 over there, who's fighting a fairly good, strong battle. Oh, takes a round from a Char Future 4. Goes for the kill shot, but he couldn't get it before the guy pulled down. And now we've got one up on top of the hill. It's a BZ176, and oh, that's a 16 centimeter shell. And that means Mr. Land's taken a huge hit. He's down to just 61 hit points now, and he's very vulnerable. He's lost all of his advantage by being a bit aggressive and pushing forward. You can see the damage that those shells did. There's the hole from the 16 centimeter. Went right through the front of the vehicle. At the front it's only, if you remember correctly, I did say front it's only 98.9 millimeters, and of course that 16 centimeter gun on the BZ176 is just going to go straight through that. Okay, we've got a T30. He's gone. T95 got him. He did get spotted though. Momentarily he was spotted. Now I think he was spotted by the sniper position up on A5, not by anyone down below. So it would be better for him if he was to go down below. If he's spotted right now, it's only because he's crossing the gap. There's still that IS-6B though, over by the cliff edge. There he is. No shot from here. Unfortunately, we just lost the AMX M451, and it was the Char Future 4 that took him out. So the guy that we managed to, well, that Mr. Lamb missed accidentally. I mean, he tried hard to get that guy with the second shot, but he just pulled back too quickly. It was that guy that killed our AMX M451. Now, it might not be a good idea for him to go around the other side to try and get at that Char Future 4, because remember, if he did get spotted from A5, the sniper position, they'll get 3 shots on him as he's going round the corner. And I think he's aware of that. Okay, he's decided to go back round the other way. Approach this from a different side. And again, his mouse sightus has come in, so I'm going to take control of the camera to avoid us getting motion sickness. Not very nice. Now he's back to covering the cap area. Oh, there's the IS-6B. Now, was he spotted? I don't think he was. The 6B comes down into the dip, but he's not going to get shots on him because he's now over a hill. And the IS-6B is... No, you can't go through that gap. There's the Char. He can get the Char. He hits the armor with his first shot. Second shot kills. But now he's only got 2 rounds. And the IS-6B is getting closer. Yes, you have to come out around the rock if you want to get into the corner. We can't see the IS-6B now. The Pantera's come back. That's it, he's going round it this time. It's good. Now this position does have a bit of an advantage, mainly because he can go forward to these bushes here, acquire the target, then pull back, and he's now unspotted. Okay. 2 rounds. First round hits the tracks. Second round makes contact. Now he needs to get behind that rock just in case the IS-6B tries to fire at him. We've got less than a minute to go. Our teammates are after the ISU-152K in the north. The T-95's going for him. The enemy is capping, but I don't think they can win. The Pantera's come back to try and get a reset, and oh, he just got hit. That was a 122mm round. Hit the Pantera. We're not loaded yet, but we're getting in position. There's the IS-6B. About to be loaded. First shot hits the engine bay. Second, we don't know. 10 seconds to go on this game. Gets the lower plate for 347. Last shot. He gets a pin, and we take one hit in the tracks, and the game is over. Well, I'd have to say that this game pivoted on just one shot, and it was the shot where Mr. Land missed the Char Future 4 with his second round to finish the guy off. And unfortunately, that led to the AMX M451 getting taken down, and that allowed the IS-6B to get into our cap area. But it was a good attempt. If Mr. Land had followed the rest of his team and tried to go north to kill all the enemy tanks up there, I think they probably would have come a cropper, because Mr. Land by then didn't have much in the way of hit points left, and he would have been vulnerable to the tank destroyer up on whoever was actually up on the corner at A5. That position was occupied because I think that's how he got spotted when he crossed the bottom of the donut. He managed to get an ace tanker in the GSOR in that game, as well as getting a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 10. A demolition expert for blowing one of the enemy tanks to pieces in the shot. I think it was it the BZ176, or it was either the BZ... Oh, I think it was the BZ68, wasn't it, that he blew apart. He also managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He ended up with 5, just one short of getting his top gun. If he'd taken down the IS-6B, he would have had a top gun before the end of the game. But he did get a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle, a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and he got a tank sniper as well for doing the most damage at a distance of 300 meters or more, at least 85% accuracy with his shots. Let's have a look at team score. Well, you can see there he is right at the top of the table, 7,134 hit points for Mr. Land in the GSOR. Second highest damage was the Char Future 4, yeah, the one he missed. 4,541 hit points went to him. And the third highest damage went to the BZ176, again, another tank that he fired at. He got 3,577 hit points. When it came to kills, Mr. Land missed out on that one, because the Char Future 4 got 6 kills before he wiped out. So he got a top gun. In fact, he ended up with a 5 effect, demolition expert, duelist, bruiser, and top gun. And Mr. Land got 5 kills, just one short of his top gun. 4 kills going to the T95 on his team, who also survived the battle. When it came to base XP, only one player right at the top, and that's Mr. Land. He's got 1,160, the only player to get over 1,000. The second highest being the Char Future 4 on the enemy team with 766, and the third highest being the BZ176 on the enemy team with 721. So Mr. Land ends up with 2 of the columns, missing out on that third one. He fired 29 rounds in that game. You don't get a whole lot of ammunition in this thing, so you have to make the best use of it. That's why I was actually saying it might have been better for him to just pop the reload rather than blast away those last 2 rounds on the off chance that you might hit the enemy. 25 direct hits on the enemy, 22 penetrations, so there was 4 shots that didn't hit the target, and I suspect those were the 4 shots that he fired to actually dispose of the clip and get it to recycle. He also got damage of 7,134 hit points, of which 2,521 were at more than 300 meters. He received 4 hits from the enemy, 2 penetrations, 2 non-penetrations. He was lucky about those shots because they hit the tracks, but it was the penetrations, I'm afraid, that hurt him in the end. The Char Future 4 got 1 big hit into him, but it was the one from the above, the BZ176, who hit him with that 16 centimeter shell and stripped away most of his hit points with that 1 round. So it didn't work out so well for him there. 780 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 5 killed, and 1,360 hit points of damage assistance, or spotting assist, I think, in that game. And he also got 16 defense points by resetting the cap when the IS-6B was in there. He earned 115,466 credits for the game, 46,000 for battle payments, and 7,200 for the Achievements Award. That's for getting a battle hero or an epic medal in a losing or drawn game. This was a draw. 229,999 credits. Well, nearly 230, isn't it? By just -1. But after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables, and he did spend an awful lot on premium rounds, he actually ended up with a profit of only 60,715 credits. 1,160 XP, 649 for the Achievements Award, 271 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 2,985 experience points altogether. Mr. Land could have saved himself a packet on shells if he'd actually used the standard rounds. The standard rounds don't have a huge amount of penetration, but when you're actually trying to mark a vehicle and you definitely want to score the damage, you use the premium rounds virtually exclusively because you need each shell to count. And that's what Mr. Lamb was doing. So that's why he did have the premium rounds and nothing else. But I'd say that if you want to save money on a GSOR and make profit, and you can make a huge amount of profit with this vehicle, then it's use the standard rounds instead of the premium. And I think you would still have a lot of success. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.